Traffic is piling up on Highway 195 earlier today after a major crash.
We'll let you know which section of road is backed up next on Murrow News 8.
Studios on the campus of Washington State University. This is Murrow News 8.
Good afternoon, I'm Morgan White.
And I'm Jose. Welcome to Murrow News 8. Emergency crews were called to a fatal crash on Highway US 195 this afternoon involving a semi and van. The accident occurred between Colton and Uniontown. Washington State Patrol said that the highway will be closed for some time and motorists need to use alternate routes. Pullman Radio News went live and we can see police lights flashing and traffic being backed up. Washington State Patrol said there is no estimate on when the highway will be reopened.
The Boise Police Department is searching for 2 suspects after a shooting took place early this morning at St. Alphonsus Regional Medical Center. The shooting was motivated by a planned inmate breakout. One of the suspects is Skylar Mead, the escaped inmate, and the other is unknown at this time. What is known is that they escaped in a silver gray 4-door sedan, and they believe it's a Honda Civic with Idaho license plates. Mead was on administrative segregation, which happens when inmates are determined to be unable to live among other inmates due to threats to inmates, staff, or other people within the facility. Mead was determined to need hospital care due to self-inflicted injury, and he was discharged close to 2 a.m. this morning, which is when the second suspect ambushed the correctional officers, striking 2 of them. Chief of Police of the Boise Police Department, Ron Weiniger, has more.
He has tattoos on his face, the number 1 on one side of his face and the number 11 on the other side. He is a documented gang member and with the Aryan Knights, and obviously 1 is the first letter of the alphabet, 11 is K is the 11th letter of the alphabet, so the 1 and 11 refer to AK or Aryan Knights.
Chief Weiniger makes it clear, do not approach the suspects. They are not believed to be dangerous to the public unless there is an interference with their escape from law enforcement. Instead, call 911 or 208-377-6790.
Weather around Washington last year caused a bad cherry season for farmers. Yesterday, the U.S. Department of Agriculture granted Governor Jay Inslee request for a federal disaster declaration. Growing in 22 Washington and Oregon counties are each eligible for up to $500,000 in emergency loans. As next week's National Farm Workers Awareness approaches, this is a good time to recognize farmers and growers around Washington.
Coug fans gathered in Bowler Gym yesterday to celebrate the beginning of a long-awaited journey for the Washington State men's basketball program. It's been 16 years since WSU has been to the NCAA tournament. Players and coaches for WSU were greeted by a sea of people cheering, clapping, and high-fiving as they made their way out of the gym and to the airport. WSU is set to play in Omaha, Nebraska tomorrow and will play the Drake Bulldogs at 7:05 p.m.
With what has been a disappointing and unpredictable season for the WSU women's basketball team, the team finally had some good news. The Cougs earned an invite to the inaugural Women's Basketball Invitational Tournament as a #1 seed. They'll face off against #8 seeded Lamar tomorrow, with Beasley Coliseum playing host to the national tournament.
National Farm Workers Awareness Week is coming up, and WSU is getting ready to host related events.
We'll let you know when and where you can support the organizations coming up on Murrow News 8.
Days, months,
Hey, I'm Jim from across the street.
years,
I'd like to give you this.
a lifetime. can rush by without realizing what we're missing. We lose some of the best moments, some that may never repeat,
Come on.
or detach from people around us. Our loved ones grow used to this pattern, but it doesn't have to be that way. We have a choice to take action. It's never too late to live a full life again. Hear how many of us Vietnam veterans have managed our mental health and reconnected with our families. Visit maketheconnection.net to find out more.
Texas' new immigration law, Senate Bill 4, is on hold after going between courts. Yesterday, the Supreme Court decided to pass SB 4. After a few hours, a lower court put the bill back on hold for the last-minute hearing. This morning, the law still remains on hold as the court is deliberating. SB 4 was signed by Texas Governor Greg Abbott in December, making entering Texas illegally a state crime and allows state judges to order immigrants to be deported. Immigration enforcement is typically a function of the federal government. National Farm Worker Awareness is next week. WSU is involved by setting up a station for the rest of the week in the ASWSU office for a long sleeve drive. These long sleeves will then be donated to farmers around Washington. Jennifer Pineda has insight to other projects going on for WSU students to get involved in.
Next week, so that's a really cool event that we would love to see like the community come out and kind of support with that event.
We've had beautiful weather for the past few days. Is it going to stick around, Josie?
Yes, thank you guys. We have had beautiful weather today. It is unfortunately not going to stick around for the rest of the week, but for today, you know, we have a high of 56. Oh, I'm lying. We have a high of 63, even better. You know, we have a slight breeze that makes it bearable, and honestly, it feels perfect. Looking at tomorrow as well, we're going to have, it's going to be 56. That's where I got that number from earlier. It's going to stay nice tomorrow, but there is going to be a chance of rain throughout the day. Looking at the rest of the state, you know, over on the west side, they're having some rain. It's not as great, but the middle of the state, they are looking beautiful with 72 and 69. Now, the rest of the week here in Pullman is unfortunately not going to be very nice. You know, we can't expect too much to stick around here. But it's going to be raining and snowing, so if you're heading to the baseball games, get a coat, umbrella. It's not going to be very nice. That is all we have for you today. I'm going to send it back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Josie. The wait for March Madness is almost over.
We'll let you know when and where you can watch the tournament next.
It's okay to be scared. You don't have to be so strong.
Strength is not optional. This is my mother, my purpose. Real muscle is lifting her spirits between bedpans and bad news from doctors that doubt her strength. Strength is buried in bills, managing meds, and swallowing those moments of, Mom, it's me, your daughter. Remember? My strength is super, but I'm still human, right?
Look who's here. There she is. Thanks for your patience.
How you feel?
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community, or call 1-877-333-5885.
Number 25 WSU enters the NCAA tournament as a number 7 seed with an at-large bid for the first time since 2008. They are facing the number 10 seed Drake University in the first round from Chi Health Center in Omaha, Nebraska. Tip-off is scheduled for 7:05 p.m. on True TV and Westwood One. Washington State and Drake have only met once, nearly 90 years ago, when the Bulldogs traveled to the Palouse, where the Cougs won 28-27. Our reporter Sadie is live in Spokane with information on one of the venues for March Madness, which will be underway tomorrow. Sadie, how is the Spokane Arena looking?
Currently at the Spokane Arena right now, as you can tell behind me, the staff is currently setting up for the NCAA March Madness tournament for the first and second round here in Spokane. The Gonzaga women's team actually has home court advantage with the bunch of women's and men's team also competing here. If you're looking for anything to do, tomorrow is the start of the tournament with tickets still available. I have to say, go Cougs, go Zags, and I'll toss it back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Sadie. Now our next reporter, Brendan, went out here in Pullman to get the public's reaction to March Madness here this year.
The Washington State University men's basketball team is in March Madness for the first time since 2008, and plenty of fans are excited.
So for March Madness, I definitely want to go to some games. You know, I want to see the Cougs. You know, whether they fail or succeed, I want to see them in action, just because, you know, it's my first year here, and I want to make sure I'm part of the culture and stuff.
March Madness, probably just gonna hit the Coug, get a couple drinks with the boys. Hopefully watch Cougars go dancing. You know what I'm saying? See a good run this year. Keep it going.
The Cougs will face off against Drake University in the first round on Thursday in Omaha, Nebraska. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. Pacific time, but fans have their expectations set much higher than just the first round.
I'm hoping Sweet 16. I mean, we got good matchups so far.
I guarantee that we will win the East region. Cougs will make it all the way to the finals, right?
All the way.
As the anticipation builds for the game, the pressure shifts over to the local businesses here in Pullman. I spoke with a manager at the Coug about how they are preparing to handle the larger crowds.
To prepare for March Madness, what we've seen from the basketball games leading up to this point is a huge uptick in business with WSU doing so well. It's also boosted morale for the students quite a bit, so it's always a good time for us when everyone's happy and just excited to be here. On event weekends, we're running 16 staff members a day. We're hitting close to those numbers. We're hitting in the 9 and 10 range and just trying to keep that pretty consistent.
If the bar and restaurant scene isn't for you, the Compton Union building on campus will be hosting a watch party for the game. It's free and open to the public. I'm Brendan Jin, Murrow, News 8.
Washington State women's basketball earned a #1 seed in the inaugural 2024 Women's Invitation Tournament. The Cougs will host #8 seed Lamar tomorrow at Beasley Coliseum. Tip-off will be at 6 p.m. Washington State earned an unprecedented 4th straight postseason BIT as a #1 seed in the inaugural WBIT with an overall record of 18-14 and 7-11 in the Pac-12 regular season.
A popular WSU sub event is returning to Pullman tonight.
We'll let you know who this year's celebrity judge is coming next.
It feels like no matter where you look, the state of the world's getting worse. Oceans full of plastic, an endless amount of waste, an impossible task ahead of fixing our beloved planet. But change can't happen if you do nothing. So here's where you should start. Reduce. Why? Because Americans produce more than 200 million tons of waste every year, and you don't want to add to that. Reuse. Why? Because reusing and repurposing cuts back on unnecessary waste, and it gives things a chance at new life. Recycle. Why? Because recycling creates jobs, it helps our community, and it helps our planet. And after doing all this, what will we be left with? We'll be left with a planet that will slowly start to heal. We'll be left with more money in our pockets. We'll be left with more opportunity for work. And most importantly, we're left with hope for the future. So reduce, reuse, recycle.
Seb is hosting a talent show tonight at 6 p.m. in the Cub Auditorium with celebrity judge Lucas Gabriel. Or for you High School Musical fans, he is better known as Ryan Evans. So that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, that's all we have for tonight. So thank you so much. That was Murrow News 8. Goodbye.